Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to News Dose, and happy Switch 2 Day. It's been a long time coming, that's for sure. Probably far too long if I'm being completely honest about things. But now that it's finally in our hands, I hope everybody who's got theirs is enjoying it. I have a lot of testing to do myself, and we'll see. Maybe I'll have some videos for you all in the future, but we're already getting some very welcome reports about some upgrades, and one that I actually warned you all about last year. Now, the reason I say that is because when I made that video, there were some people in the comments that, told me I was wrong and this, that, and the other, but, well, I was right. And also, we have a few big games to talk about that are set to be at the Xbox Showcase. One of these games specifically, I am personally very, very excited about, and I almost wonder if this could be another Game Pass title. So do stick around because we have a lot to get into today. First, though, I do want to thank my supporters on Patreon and on YouTube memberships. You all are awesome, and just thank you so much for what you do. Let's go get right into things, though, starting off with Xbox, because they're quietly changing their PC brand to Xbox PC. This means that the Windows 11 gaming store and their PC app is being titled Xbox PC. And that might not sound like a big deal, but I think this is actually a very interesting change amidst all of the next generation Xbox rumors that keeps circulating online. The one thing that we have consistently heard is that the next Xbox will be a PC console hybrid. And this kind of feels like an early nod that they are putting a major focus on their Xbox and PC integration. They want Xbox PC to be synonymous with PC gaming. And this new branding will be an early way for them to maybe gain some momentum as a legitimate PC storefront that gamers will acknowledge. Now, we've already seen this branding once just here recently. It appeared in, I believe it was an Xbox Wire report for Gears of War Reloaded. Correct me if I'm wrong about that, but nonetheless, it once again appeared in a third-party game by the name of Mio Memories in Orbit. It looks like a fun Metroidvania loosely inspired by the Ori series. Definitely a great series to be inspired by. But the fact that this is a third-party game and not a first-party game, and they're still referring to the Windows 11 PC store as Xbox PC, well, that seemingly confirms that, yes, this is their new PC branding going forward. Again, could this lean into their next-generation plans with that Xbox PC hybrid console? Well, I think there is a pretty good chance for that. Now, of course, right now, a lot of people are enjoying the Switch 2 launch, as they should, and with that, it's also a kind of a learning process. We can finally get a lot of the most mysterious questions answered, and that includes for the Switch 2 Edition games. Essentially, these are Switch 1 games that have been upgraded and are repackaged as Switch 2 titles. At launch, this includes games like Zelda Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Party Jamboree, and also Kirby and the Forgotten Land. However, for physical collectors, a lot of people want to know whether or not these upgrades are actually included on the cart, or if it's just the Switch 1 game that you then have to upgrade. Well, the good news here is that everything is, in fact, on the cart, and honestly, this is incredibly smart by Nintendo. I mean, I guarantee you that there will be people out there that simply rebuys these games, again, just because it is a superior version and everything is included on cart. It's one of those preservation things that physical collectors really appreciate, and, I mean, if anything else, if that's something that you want to do, you can at least go out and sell your Switch 1 copy to make this a little bit more affordable. Now, since we're on the topic about things that we've learned about the Switch 2 today, some of you might remember that I made a video last year when I warned you all to maybe think twice about playing new Switch 1 games that have performance issues. Games like Mario and Luigi Brothership, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and even Dragon Quest III. These are all games from last year that suffered from frame rate issues. And my logic at the time told me that there's a pretty good chance that the Switch 2 will just kind of brute force them through its backwards compatibility layer. Now, there were several people in the comments that told me that I was being overly dramatic or that I just don't know what I'm talking about. But here we are on the day of the Switch 2 launch, and Well, lo and behold, I was in fact correct. It's almost as if I know a thing or two about gaming. Who knew? Several reports, though, have come out today, including from Digital Foundry, stating that Switch 1 games do in fact run better on the Switch 2. Now, admittedly, I have not tested all of these games myself yet. I will, because several of these games I actually put on pause specifically for this reason. I stated that in that video I made last year. But this list includes Zelda Link's Awakening, Echoes of Wisdom, Bayonetta 3, Mario and Luigi Brothership, and we're still discovering more games as we speak. My assumption here is that if there's a game from last generation that had frame rate problems, or if it had an unlocked frame rate, then yeah, there's a good chance that it will be improved on the Switch 2 and just be a lot more stable, if not entirely. I mean, we've seen this type of brute force improvement from other console makers, and that was one of the main reasons that I felt confident about that video last year. The probability just seemed high that the Switch 2 would do the same thing, unless Nintendo just really messed up in terms of their backwards compatibility. So, yeah, with this new information, there's a lot of games that I now want to go back and revisit. Honestly, I kind of view several of these games as low-key Switch 2 launch titles now. Games like Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, as one such example. I put that game on hold last year. I mean, I was enjoying it. It's a good game with some pretty good ideas, but its performance was less than desirable, to say the least. So now I can go back and play it without that annoyance, and if you all listened to me last year, then you can do the same thing. Okay, now let's go talk about the Xbox showcase. I mean, here we are, only a few days away by this point, and I just feel like this is a showcase that everybody needs to watch. Whether you're an Xbox fan, a PlayStation fan, Nintendo, or PC, I mean, it's not unheard of for Xbox to now have a multi-platform game or two, but out of all of the showcases, this is the one event that I have the highest expectations for every single year. I don't really trust Jeff Keighley or State of Play events. They tend to be very underwhelming, but the Xbox showcases, on the other hand, regardless about how you feel about their brand and what they're currently doing with their first-party games, they consistently put together strong cases that I think most people can go and watch and enjoy. Really, I'd say that they're pretty much the only one that has truly kept that E3 essence alive, and we're already hearing about 2 games that could be there this year, both of which could be in Game Pass. I'll get back to that in just a moment, and both of which are likely to be very high-quality games. The first of which is for the highly rumored Persona 4 Remake. Now, we've been hearing about this game pretty much all year long. And now, on top of that, MP First is throwing their hat in the ring as well. They said a source familiar with the situation has confirmed to MP First today that Persona 4 Remake will be revealed at the Xbox Game Showcase on June 8th. It's planned for release on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, though we failed to get confirmation if there's also a Switch 2 version releasing simultaneously. Now, if Sega is smart, they will release it for the Switch 2 day one. We all know how popular Nintendo consoles are, specifically over in Japan. They are absolutely dominant over there. And with a franchise like this, it just kind of feels like it would be a perfect pairing for Nintendo's newest console. In fact, personally, that would be my preferred way to play a game like this, as long as they can actually make it happen. I mean, maybe the Switch 2 version is behind in development. We'll see here soon enough, it sounds like, but a little speculation on my part is that I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being a Game Pass title. And the reason I say that is because the Persona series has been a big part of Game Pass these past few years. Persona 5 Royal, Persona 3 Reload, its expansion, and even Persona 5 Tactica all released directly in the Game Pass day numero uno. So I am curious on whether or not that partnership will continue with the Persona 4 Remake. I mean, I guess the argument against that would be that, you know, Atlas has already established a fan base on Xbox thanks to Game Pass. So, you know, they don't really need it anymore the way that they used to when they first started to bring their Persona games to Xbox. In fact, ReFantazio was not a part of Game Pass, and I believe it still performed very well on the Xbox platform. So it's definitely not a guarantee for Game Pass, but I do still think it's at least a possibility just based on their past partnership. Either which way, though, Persona 4 is my absolute favorite entry in a franchise. It's really one of my favorite JRPGs, just period. And I'm really excited to see more people play it now that the franchise is a lot more popular than what it was back when it originally released in 2008. Now, there is a game that we do know about that is, in fact, coming over to Game Pass. This was announced years ago, and that's Hollow Knight Silksong. Now, I said it the other day, and I'll just go and say it again here. I believe that it will get its release date by the end of this week, and more than likely at the Xbox Showcase, just given that it, yes, is a Game Pass Day 1 release. Well, according to Nate the Hate, that will indeed happen. In a new video, he mentioned that it will get its release date at the Xbox Showcase, and even better is that it'll actually be available by the end of this summer. So yeah, it sounds like it's going to be right around the corner. Now, I will say that if this is true, I think this is actually a very smart strategy. I don't know if Team Cherry delayed it specifically for this reason, but as you may know, one of Hollow Knight's most popular platforms was the Nintendo Switch. So if Silksong can be a part of the launch window for the Switch too, I mean, that would be huge for a game like this. That would immediately make it one of the most anticipated and most attractive Switch 2 games for its first few months on the market. So, we'll see what happens here soon enough, but with both these games now rumored for the Xbox Showcase, I'd say this is already a fairly good start. Now, Xbox, of course, still needs to give us an update for their own internally developed games. Unlike PlayStation, I'm hoping they actually show up with some of their own developed games. But like I said, this is a good start. Anyways, though, that's going to be this episode. But until next time, make sure to subscribe, ring that bell, and peace out.